What up, YouTube? Back at you guys with another one. Brother Minister Cepeda. I typically like to start with encouraging you guys to visit my website at treelifeoutreach.com. That provides you with a option to contact me if you have any questions, comments, or concerns or whatnot, and YouTube were to, for whatever reason, decide that they are going to disrupt my YouTube channel. As we know, you don't have to say very much these days for them to just discontinue one's channel or to just have put blocks on the video or whatnot. It's happened to me, unfortunately, where there was some couple people that I was interested in their information and woke up one day, didn't have their contact information, was simply had their YouTube, and then the YouTube channel was shut down, and lost all opportunity to get further information from them, to contact them for questions or whatnot. So my contact information is up there. Tree of Life Outreach. There's a number where you can text to. There's also my email address up there for the just in case, okay? There's also some information relative to me, where I come from, the path that I've trodden, to give you guys more insight into who it is that you're dealing with, to kind of, not that I need it, but to kind of give you guys just a little bit more to kind of validate why I see the world from the view that I see it from, and to kind of give you guys an idea of how I arrived, to such conclusions and such perceptions. Okay, so visit that. It tells you guys about the services that I offer and things of that nature. The topic for this particular video is love, capital L-O-V-E. I'm not going to be long-winded on this. I think it's important for us to really get a full understanding of what this word really is, what it means, what it consists of. As you know, the dictionary can tell you the definition of a word, but it can't necessarily tell you what that word actually means. So I'm going to give you guys my personal interpretation of the word, my personal, just kind of identify for you guys, what my experience with the word actually means, okay? And what it actually entails. So I think in order to do that, I start at the beginning and say by saying what love is not, okay? And what love is not, it's not an act. It's not an act, it's not a deed, okay? Oftentimes it's easy for one to associate this word with some acts and some deeds, such as, he or she gave me this, he or she helped me out of this situation, he or she looked out for me, he or she brought me gifts or whatnot. And those can be expressions. You can express love through such type of acts and deeds, but that's not what love is, because those same acts and deeds could be provided in a cause that's 100% in opposition to the word love. Just say, for an example, he brought me diamond rings, she brought me diamond rings, he helped me when I was stranded on the side of the road. Yeah, he helped you because he wanted to get you to a place where he can cut you in 1,000 pieces. Yeah, he or she gave you diamond rings because they needed for you to believe that they loved you, so that they could somewhere down the road express some ill will towards you. So we can't let the deeds and the acts that someone performed, cause us to think that that's what love is. Love is like all the other human emotions. It's an emotion. It's an emotion. It's the way you feel about somebody, whether you give them this or they give you that or not. It's the way you feel about someone. Outside of that, it's not, or in addition to that, it's also the most powerful of emotions. So even though it's another emotion, it's not just another emotion. A red oak is not just another tree. If it was just another tree, then you'd walk down and see red oaks everywhere, just like you see just other trees everywhere. So it's not just another tree, and love is not just another emotion. As we all know, there's there's literally only two human emotions from which all other emotions are birthed. Those two emotions are love and fear. Now, most people are taught to believe, and most people strongly believe, that it's love and hate. It's actually love and fear. Hate is a byproduct of fear. If you fear, hate can easily be brought forth and birthed from fear. Just like kindness can be easily brought forth from love. So ultimately, there's only love and there's only fear. So it's important that we know that, because oftentimes people are aware of the power, the potentiality of hate and of fear. And this is how people can misconstrue and misinterpret, hate or fear as being the strongest emotion. A lot of people think, well, she was scared, so she was able to run faster than she's ever ran a day in her life. Or he was scared, so he was able to run faster than he ever was prior to that, because a bear was chasing him, and he was scared. So obviously he's going to run faster. True indeed. But here's the thing. However fast he ran, because he was scared the bear was going to kill him, he's going to run 1,000 times faster if that same bear is chasing him and he's holding his child. Because of the love that he has for that child, that's going to cause him to do things that he wouldn't be able to do just because he was scared. He's going to run faster. He's going to fight harder. Yeah, he's scared this bear might kill him. But if he's holding his child, or she's holding her child, not only would she whoop that bear, that she would whoop, you guys get the analogy I'm making, not that she would actually kill a bear, but you get the analogy that I'm making. However hard she would fight, or he would fight out of fear of their life, they're going to fight 1,000 times harder than that if they're holding their newborn baby or something, or someone that they really, really love. So love is the strongest emotion that there is. And it's not an act, it's not a deed, it's an emotion. And what it does is provide you with an amount of power, access to power that you do not have if this thing is void from your life. Again, if you're just walking down the street, or lifting weights or whatever it is that you're doing, you have a certain amount of strength that you have, a certain amount of power that you have. And just like him or her, when they're confronted with a bear, they're going to do so much if they're by themselves, and they're going to be able to multiply that 1,000-fold if they have their child with them. They're going to fight even harder. They're going to be able to fight 1,000 times longer, 1,000 times smarter. So if you extrapolate that out, then it's easy for you to see what happens to that person who does not have love in their life. They're not operating from a foundation or construct of love. They aren't emanating love, and there's no one giving love to them. So they're walking around this planet with what could be likened unto, say, if you had just had a light bulb, and you took the light bulb and you colored it, shaved it all in as best you could with a black marker. Well, of course it's going to have some light in it. So it's a light. But you can imagine how dim that light's going to be compared to just a light bulb. That light bulb that's covered, that's a person without love. The light bulb that's uncovered, that's going to emanate and shine 1,000 times brighter, that's a person who has love. If they don't have love internally, there's someone in their life that's providing love to them. So then again, you just continue to imagine and extrapolate that out, and you can see how society, or why society is the way it is now today. There's very little love on the planet. And with very little love, then there's very little kindness. There's very little consideration, very little courtesy, very little caring. And then you can envision, well, if there's no love, then that leaves this other emotion, which is just fear. And we know what's born out of that: jealousy. You're afraid to be around her because you feel she looks better than you, and then all of a sudden you're jealous. Then all of a sudden you're hateful. Then all of a sudden you're mean and vengeful. You're afraid to be around him because you're fearful that he's bigger, that he's stronger, he's got a better car, what have you. And then you're hating on him. You're jealous of him. So if there's no love, that leaves only fear, and what fear gives birth to. So you see how this is all working together to where it highlights the importance of having love. And not everyone has love in their heart, and that's fine. That's just a part of this thing we call life. But for those of us who do have love in our heart, it's important that we try to find those people who are receptive, first of all, and then find those people who are receptive and worthy. And whether they're receptive or worthy or not, we still have to operate from a foundation of love, because we understand the power of love. We understand the reason why it's here. We understand what it can do for us personally, individually, and we're able to understand how it can impact the lives of others. So don't find yourself in a situation where you feel like, well, this person ain't operating out of love, so therefore I don't have anything for them. How does that make anything better? And as a wise man once said, what man is a man who does not seek to make things better? Whatever he can make better. Some people can make finances better. Some people can make just day-to-day conversation better. Some people can just make the workplace better. What have you? If what manner of man could you? What man is a man who does not seek to make things better? And that's for, we're saying man, but we mean women and children as well. If they're learned enough to know, then they have an obligation and a duty to operate from a state of love. It's not a state of foolishness where you're just going to allow people to treat you all kind of way, and you're going to, always have just turn the other cheek. I'm forgiving. I'm a doormat. It's not that. It's about knowing the power of love, knowing how this picture fits together, and knowing why you have that. You don't have love in your heart necessarily just for you. You have love in your heart so that you can make a difference in this world. You wasn't born for no reason, and you don't have love in your heart for no reason. So understand why you're made that way. Understand really what love is and why you are one of those people who have love. It's your job, it's your obligation to spread that, to share that as often as you can, and when you can't, still operate from that construct that allows you to operate with mercy, compassion, understanding, forgiveness, all these different things that you can share with a person who is dealing from a construct of fear. So don't be dissuaded. Continue to let that light shine. And for the people who want to be indestructible, invincible, unstoppable, all these different things, in my view, it starts and it ends with love. There's a sermon that Christ was given to his disciples, and he talked to them about kindness and compassion and tolerance and all these different things. And when he finished, they asked him, amongst those, which is the greatest? He said, love. Love is the greatest. Love is the power. That's where your power comes from. That's where your strength comes from. That's where your faith comes from. It all comes from faith. That's whether it's on a football field or whether it's at a front desk at Harvard or Yale. It's all you get the energy, you get the your power to where you can not just be in the the front seat, you can actually expand and expound and do other things, do some incredible things that the person who's fighting from fear, who can probably defeat that bear, well, you can go in there and defeat 1,000 bears. So that's what I have for you guys today, and I want to encourage you guys, man, to let that light shine. We live in a society to where there's been a war initiated against this thing called love. It really, really have. And I don't want to get too far off of the topic of what love is and what it isn't. But I do think it's necessary to kind of touch on that at least somewhat, because you also need to know that what it is that you have in your heart, this love, there's an opposing sect of people who they can't stand to be around that, particularly those who are inside the know and who are in positions of what we would say are positions of authority. They know the power of love, and they don't want you, the average Joe, or me, the average Joe, walking around with love in our heart. They don't want that, because again, we just talked about how powerful love is, and if you have love in your heart, and there's certainly 1,000 times or hundreds and hundreds of thousands of times or whatnot, there's a vast more majority of average Joes on this planet. And if there's average Joes walking around with love in their heart, he could change that average Joe. That love is just so powerful, he can defeat that bear. He can overcome that situation and teach and show others what love really is, how it really works, and the power of it, the glory of just love. And if he can do that, and there's a lot more average Joes, and they are, average Joe, they just get up, go to work, pay their bills, love their family. They're not some CEO or some rich guy that owns islands, or some, somebody that's doing all these extravagant things when it comes to business and things of that nature. They're just an average Joe. They get up to be the best person they can. They love their family. They live their life. They plan. They save whatever money they can. These are average Joes. There's 1,000 times more average Joes than it is these people that are call themselves in positions of authority. So they don't want the average Joes walking around with this love. So they have initiated a game plan to say, look, love can change everything. So we don't want no average Joes running around here feeling good about themselves, because they're going to make somebody else feel good about themselves. And we get enough people feeling good about themselves, and how are we gonna make our wars pop off and get money from that? How are we gonna keep these people divided with race issues? We can't do that, because there's average Joes, and they're walking around with all this love in their heart, and they made friends, and they opened their eyes to the fact that, hey man, this oil company is basically overcharging all of us, regardless of our race. So we need to be conscious and aware. I'm going to check my timer. We need to be conscious and aware of our power, and we need to sit in that. We need to stand in that, and whatever winds or storms comes as a result of that, we have to embrace that, and we have to be even more determined than those who are operating from a state of fear. We have to be even more determined to let our light shine, because at the end of the day, you can bring all the darkness in the world against one small match, and it'll surround that match. But guess what? Wherever you move that match, it's going to pierce that darkness. So darkness, there's no war between good and evil. There's just people who have the light, who are that match, just deciding that they're just going to let their light show, and then there's no war. So that's my thoughts on that, man. And I want to encourage you guys who perhaps feel like you're operating without love. You're operating from that standpoint of fear that the economy is going to collapse, fear that crime is in your neighborhood is a threat. Whatever you're operating from that's not love, I want to encourage you guys. Hey, listen. If you know somebody that has love, spend time around them. Spend time around them. I guarantee you'll feel better. Just spend time around them. We're not calling you at this particular moment to go in there and be love or whatnot. You are who you are. Embrace that, but see how much more stronger you could be. See how much more powerful you can be. See how much more happy and fulfilled you can be by being around people who have love. And then all of a sudden, you actually have some love, and then it'll be your job and your responsibility to go out and do the same for someone else. So I want to encourage you guys to be around someone who you know is just basically a loving person. And when I say be around them, I don't mean be around them for with no ill intentions, with no hidden agenda. It's just like, hey, listen, I know I feel a certain way, and when I go around this person, I feel better. I'm going to respect that, and I'm going to honor that, and I'm not going to misuse that. I'm not going to take advantage of that in any wrong or unclean way. And so that's what I have for you guys. For the people who know that you're operating from love, you just want, hey, can't we all just get along type of thing? I want to encourage you guys to keep that mentality, to keep that focus, and to know that when you walk outside of your door, you are going into a society that is predominantly people who are operating from that fear-based mindset. So you don't judge them, you don't cut them off. You're a learned individual, you understand what's happening, you know this information, which means you have what it takes to take the lumps, the bruises, and whatnot without being a fool, without just letting somebody walk over you and be someone's emotional or psychological punching bag. That's not what I'm saying. And I think those of you who are watching this video, you already know exactly what I'm saying. You have what it takes. If you didn't have what it takes, you wouldn't be watching this video. You wouldn't be familiar with these topics. And you certainly wouldn't be trying to be the best that you can be. Surely there are some who are familiar with these topics and are just determined to live their life according to a way that's fear-based. But the vast majority of us who know these topics, we know them, we're familiar with them because we've been chosen, not in an arrogant way, not in a self-glorification way, but we've been chosen to be this way so that we can help others, not so we can put others down or make them feel bad or flaunt our love in their face, and because we had nothing to do with it. We just was born just like a kid who was born in a mansion and the other kid was born in a hut without food to eat. They had nothing to do with that. They had absolutely nothing to do with that. So we don't get big-headed and start thinking that because we were in the mansion, we just woke up born into a family or whatnot, that we're better than the guy who just happened to wake up and was born in a hut. So let us make sure we're staying humble and make sure we're helping people honestly, earnestly, and consistently. So that's the message for today, guys. Don't want to be too long-winded on the topic, but obviously it's a topic that's worthy of a follow-up video, which I will do. As you guys know me, I just make videos about whatever the Spirit puts on me to make them about. And if you don't know, you'll soon find out if you continue to watch my channel that my topics are limitless. There's no topic is off limit. No topic is embarrassing, and no topic is taboo. Yeah, I dare to become all that should or possibly become a man. So it's all information, and you can't never have too much information. Doesn't matter what it's about. Just that's just kind of how I get down. So know what love is from my humble perspective, and whatever love is from your perspective, implement that. Just don't just, oh, I love my wife, I love my kids, and that's that. That may help your wife and kids, but if there's no love in the world and your wife and kids live in this world, and that's all you're focused on, and your wife and kids go out or your husband go out and there's no love in the world, and then they're subject to some danger or some challenging situations because you have love, but you decided you just were going to give it to your wife and kids. So let us expand beyond that. And for those of you guys who are struggling to do better in your emotional life, and you can be a better person, you're not living up to the standard that you would like to, hey, that's fine. That's fine. Don't knock yourself. Don't beat yourself up. Just keep trying. Keep pushing. And if you're mean, just when you realize you're being mean and you're being unfair, then catch yourself and do what you need to do to be better. I recommend that everybody get around somebody who has love. If you don't know anybody that's genuinely have love, my contact information is there. You can go outside. I'm a philosophical person, so trees have love, birds have love, running water has love. You can go by a pond and just sit there for a moment and you realize, hey man, you feel a lot better. So there's different type of ways you can extract love or be given love. Love it's out there, whether it's, like I said, if it's a nice sunny day, a cold winter day, and you like snow, just take a moment to think about it. Feel the love and the warmth that comes off of such things, the internal or the emotional warmth that those type of things or those type of people provide. Absorb, get your feel, be grateful, be thankful, don't take it for granted, and then you do that long enough, I'm confident you'll feel better. You'll feel better, and then you'll also be inspired to go out and help someone else feel better. So that's the message for today. Again, I don't know all of y'all, but I do love all of y'all, whether you believe it or not. Okay? Peace, and holla back.